some people sometimes describe it like a divine experience, but
I'm not sure it's a divine experience. Are you mean in your own mind? Do you think it's a divine experience or not?
It's definitely something I've never experienced, so I want to know more about it. Some musicians say that the zone, and obviously you cannot choose when you are in the zone. It kind of just happens, and it happens according to some musicians. It happens only maybe twice or 3 times a year, so it's really rare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you experience it? You experience it more often than that, do
you? I think when they say they experience it twice or 3 times a year, it's really special, and you are not. I think it must be like out of body experience, and I get to experience it maybe once a year or maybe twice a year.
Because I started as a poet, I hear the lines first and then I write them. But I'm not really inventing the lines. The words come one after the other, and in the best case scenario, I'm feeling a feeling. I catch a feeling. It's like catching a wave. And then I do go into some sort of automatic pilot. Partly because that's been my goal. My goal for many years at a certain point when I reached a certain place in poetry was the mystery of unconscious channeling, like letting whatever it is that's going on in my unconscious somehow find a way out to the paper. And my own experiences, I had to start learning about how my ego was interfering with that process. And one of the ways it interferes with that process is by repeating cliches. That was my first biggest problem, is my lines would all seem to be repetitions or mimics of things I've already heard. How do you resist that?
It happens in athletic too, like basketball or soccer or all kinds of things. You are in the zone.
Yeah.
Now, once you're in the zone, you are in autopilot. So you're not controlling it, but somehow you are just going somewhere automatically, and you're just kind of observing your body going this way and that way. Interesting. And when that happens, your consciousness is more focused on discovering new things instead of trying to project what you already know.
I did enough writing in my journal that my hand would sometimes lead. I would let it go. And this is tricky, but my hand would start writing, like it's as though my hand was writing, not me. It's that same automatic thing. There's some unconscious mechanism that through all the practice has trained your hand to do it, and then I would notice that sometimes my hand would be writing the sentence. It would appear as though my hand was writing the sentence, I hadn't predicted what my hand would do.
when I'm playing really good, but I'm not that like, wow, like I didn't know I'm capable of doing this, that I'm not that, I'm still, most of the time I'm still in control. So I kind of run my body in autopilot, but still little careful not to go out of control.
Right.
But when musicians say they're in the zone, it's like you don't worry about anything. You got it. You got the and so you got it, and you just enjoy the music your body is somehow making without you doing anything about it, and you're like you discover the music.
Some writers don't like poetry. They don't like it because it's too few words for a great deal of time. You spend a lot of effort and you only got a few lines. It just seems like not a great utility. But I was more interested in the perfect line. I get into this. What's the perfect line? And is there such thing as a perfect musical poem that reaches right into the depth of the language and the thought? That's just it's a romantic notion, but I think the romantic archetype. Do you ever think about the romantic archetype in relation to music? Is there a romantic
archetype? What I don't.
Do you know what I mean by archetype?
I'm not familiar. I don't think I know the exact definition of archetype.
Well, archetype refers to collective dynamics. That is, it's an archetype if we all share it. So it would have to be collective. It's part of the architecture of our being. So for instance, feminine is an archetype, or the female is an archetype, masculine is an archetype. Okay. And anything that we all share in terms of conscious dynamics or social dynamics, things that are common to all of us, that would be an archetype. And like, for instance, there are some archetypes like that which comes into your center from the outside world, which is regarded as the feminine archetype. So information coming from the outside world into your center is feminine, and information coming from your center out into the world is masculine. So the only difference between the two is actually a change in direction. That which comes in, that which comes out. And this is part of not just human biology, it's part of the nature of physics. Depending on where your reference point is, things are going in and things are coming out. And I think this is, today culturally, I find we're very confused about these things, because now the popular idea is it's all social construction, that feminine, masculine doesn't exist in the world, it's something we made up. But I see it as part of physics as well, so this would make it an archetype. So one of the ways of understanding archetypes are processes that are fundamental to the nature of life. The romantic archetype is connected to the idea of alchemy. Are you familiar with alchemy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so alchemy suggests that to some degree the integration of the feminine and masculine in yourself. And the feminine would be your embodied experience. That is feminine. People associate feminine with biology, somewhat directly connected. So we all have an embodied experience where we sense. So information comes from the outside world through our body. That aspect is coming in. So that's feminine. And then we take that information in and then we project it out as music, as writing. That's the masculine aspect. So when I'm listening to you, I'm occupying the feminine archetype. And when I'm speaking to you, I'm occupying the masculine archetype.
Right.
Some people find that idea offensive, but I think it's nonsense. Like, I wondered about this when I was much younger, and then I found I tried to research the problem. Are these just social conventions, or is there some reality behind them? And that's, I think, a cultural question that a lot of people are having trouble with. But what helped me was Chinese culture, actually. The I Ching, they have a very strong idea. They have two archetypes. The I Ching is, it's called the Book of Changes. They have two archetypes. One is the creative, and the other is the receptive.
Right.
And the creative is really the projective. When you go projective, receptive, then you really understand it. One is out, the other one's in. So the romantic archetype is the idea that this union between feminine and masculine, my own feeling is that that union between feminine and masculine, between listening and projecting, is what that zone is all about. That when that balance becomes, the perfect balance is you're listening, but you're not so possessed by the listening that you can't project. You know what I mean?
I see.
And then you're projecting, but you're not so possessed by the projecting that you can't listen. So you've got to be able to do both at the same time, and that's the trick.
Oh, okay.
I'm curious what your experience is around all of this.
That's a tough thing. Let's see. I like musicians who are good listeners, and I believe it's easier to make good music with musicians who are good at listening rather than just saying whatever they want to say. And but there are just all kinds of music. It's just a reflection of who they are. So I don't really, whatever they make is also music. I just don't like their music. And I like my music, or I like music that's more considerate and like harmonious. And so I don't know. I mean, I tend, of course, obviously, because I like it, I have a tendency to choose the words that I really want to hear. And well, in case of jazz, which I play most of the time, you get to play your solo. So you are the main. So you play the melody together.
Yeah.
You're supposed to play. Well, piano supposed to play this, and the bass supposed to play that, and we play our roles.
Yeah.
But once the interesting thing about jazz is that you get to play your solo. You become the main character.
Yeah.
For a moment.
I love that too.
Yeah.
It's
And there are soloists who just take advantage of the fact that everyone has to follow you. So just they do whatever they want to do. They can just, I don't know, take it to any direction. But the ones I like usually, well, and actually it's I think it's Steve Lacy, soprano saxophone player, who said it. The good soloist makes the whole band sound good. So you're not just playing the solo for his or her own sake, but because of, well, you are still the centerpiece of the act, but you're making the whole act look and sound better. So you're still contributing. So how can you contribute by being center of the stage?
Yes.
So some people, well, we all say that's the best thing to do, but they still, some of them still like forget, because we all have egos and we all have something we want to say at the time. So we all forget and just thinking, I practiced, I have this cool line that I just practiced for, and now I can finally nail this line. I want to use it for today. I'm going to use this line and forget about all the other elements of music and just plays it. So that can happen, but still.
I've only experienced that.
Yeah.
There's one musician I can think of that he's a great musician, and he's a good improviser. But I knew him from way back. But he often had trouble playing with other musicians because he would just sometimes, when he goes on in his solo riff, he would change the whole nature of the song and go off into places that the others couldn't follow because it was so syncopated and wasn't following the rhythms. He just goes into his whole space, and then all the other musicians, they don't know, they're befuddled, they don't know how to follow it, and so then they get confused, and he would often do this. He actually did a concert with one of my favorite Toronto singers, and he did so much of this that she just walked out. She just walked out and went, "That's enough, I'm leaving." She didn't know how to deal with it.
And another quote that I really like is that you don't play music, the music plays you. Yeah. So when you're in the zone, I think that's when the music is playing you.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
yeah, a lot of times. I mean, most of the times, most of the musicians' conscious time, you are playing the instrument, or you're using your vocal cord, which is your instrument. But when you are in the zone and the music is playing you, you are becoming an instrument to the music.
Right.
So it's so some people, although I'm not 100% in agreement, but some people think it's a kind of a religious experience because you are experiencing something beyond imagination and control, and beyond any kind of rational knowledge.
Right.
But to me personally, I don't know. I'm not perfect. There's always, there are always things that I don't know, and I just try not to take something as an answer. So I'm not. I'd like to be faithful, but if someone tells me this is the answer, and that's why you have to do this and that, and like, I want to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
So I usually, generally try to stay away from especially established religion.
Yeah.
But I like the ideas, and I like the faith, and I like most of the good behaviors and good attitude toward life coming from religions. I've met so many people, religious people, who are doing amazing, great things in their lives.
Right.
So I respect that. But just talking, when I talk about musical experience, and when I'm experiencing something amazing, I can understand people sometimes describe it like a divine experience, but
You're not sure it's a divine experience? I mean, in your own mind, do you think it's a divine experience or not?
It's definitely something I've never experienced, so I want to know more about it.